Tom here, Legacy Toolworks. Today I'm going to make a bow quiver slash bow stand out of not much more than this, a pool noodle. Stay tuned, let's crack into it. Okay, so what you'll need is your bow to fit it, of course, 8 equal lengths or thereabouts of hose pipe, just a smidge wider, maybe a couple of millimeters wider than the actual bow limbs. Of course, your pool noodle, this is all I have left. I've made one of these before. Your arrow to do something later with. Zip ties, scissors, and of course your gentleman's tool. Apart from that, you should be all good to go. Right, let's crack into it. Okay, so we're going to cut the pool noodle, the trusty gentleman's tool, right? So we need it just wide enough for the arrows to have something to sink into and to stabilize the bow as it stands limbs down, string up. So here we go. We're going to go approximately, these hose pipe lengths are roughly 40-45 mil. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, maybe 3.5. It should be enough. Just cut that. Whammo, we've got our piece. Okay, now we've got our length of pool noodle. I still have some spare in case I got it wrong. We're going to measure it on the bow, cut the holes, and just do a trial fit. You want to have the quiver as close to the main riser as possible, the limbs being bendable down the track here. So you want the non-flexible part where the noodle is. Okay, so I'll need to place it. See how the riser here, there are these bits just on the side here that are just beyond where it fastens on. That's where I want the quiver to be. I don't want it on the more flexible parts that bend. That'll be really silly. So you want it just outside of the riser, as close as possible on the limbs. So here we go. Slightly in from where you intend to be. Mark where the hole's going to be. What I'm going to do is literally just stab through it. So there we go. One hole there. Careful, don't want to ruin the table. So I push it through on that side. Great. Now, right-hander. So I'm going to just slide this over the limbs here. Nice and gentle, take your time. Remember, it's been pre-cut. There we go, it's poking through. And slowly slide it down just in case it falls apart or something crazy happens. Nice and slow. Slowly does it. And that's it there. Above the riser, so it's right hard up against it. Okay, so I need to cut another piece. Here we go. So I can just literally roughly measure that. Okay, it's about that long. Make a small cut and work my way around. Literally all you need for this is a knife or a good pair of scissors. So cut that, snip. Okay, so it's roughly the same. Very good. Then cut here. Careful we don't scratch the limb. Just poke her in. Same on the other side. Poke her in there. Cool, now we can make her cut. So easy as she goes. See how it's poking through just a little bit? I can finish that off. Wham. There we go. Now, as I push it through onto the limb itself, it should open up that hole a bit better. Wiggle, wiggle. and slowly push it on. Nice and gentle. Here we go. It's a bit of a compromise. It's a very cheap and nasty improvise on the fly kind of thing, but so far, you know, if it works, well, I'm all for it. So yeah, next stage, noodles on. Now this isn't if it had a flatter nose, this would work as a completely flat bow stand, kind of like my other one does on my Arc Roland. I'll show you that later. You want to do the next stages onwards while the bow is strung up. Okay, so the bow is strung up, as you can see. Knocking point, thanks to one of the guys at my local club. Good guy, you know who you are. And what I'm going to do is insert the arrow in here to make the holes, and then I'm going to hose pipe and zip tie the ends so it avoids a whole lot of that going on. Okay, so quite simple, pretty quick and easy, and no power tools, very minimal tools and materials needed. There are simpler ones out there, but this one performs two functions rather than one. That's why I like it, and it's lightweight, makes the bow highly visible, and maybe it might float, who knows. So on to the next stage. Okay, so I'm literally just pushing the arrow through here. I'm just making my initial marks. So this quiver will hold approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 2 spares in the middle, 6, 7, 8. So usually on the course that I frequent, I roll with 6, but there's extra slots for 2 more if needed. Let me push it through. Cool. So that's why I'll repeat this pattern of marks on the other side down there. I forgot I needed enough arrows to fill the quiver so it's as stable as possible while the holes are being made. Because you only, on the bottom, you only want one side of it penetrated so it catches it on the other side. Or even better, just partially through the first bit. So they may be close, but they won't be touching. Make sense? Alright. Bow quivers are meant to be quiet after all. After shaking that round, no feather noise. Very good. So as you're pushing them through, this one obviously goes through, but you can change the spread, if you will, of the feathers by changing the position of the tip. So you want to space them strategically apart as much as you possibly can. No, it looks like we're all good. So shake it up, give it a tap. That is quiet. Hose pipe, the layer on the outside, it's quite sticky to hard surfaces. It doesn't want to move too much. You could put anything to pad it, but I'm just going to use a hose pipe as a cheap alternative to, you know, expensive furs or anything like that. Put the zip tie through, a few clicks in, good. Loop that through the way I did the previous one, the first one I did. I'll show you that soon as promised. And it's adjustable. It's grippy, yet you can slide it up and down. It's kind of crazy. Eventually, okay. Okay, let's leave it at that. Cut her off. Okay, that should at least provide some prevention to pushing, because I'm pushing it there and it's not really coming out. Yes, there will be slight movement because as it goes down the limb, obviously it decreases in width, but yeah, at least it's some sort of way to prevent things from moving around too much. Really shove it down. Oh, here we go. Okay. Getting there. Now the foam may not last forever, or it won't last forever, but I've made one of these before and it's lasted me a good, I'd say 4 to 5 months of weekly course use. So not too bad, so far so good. Last one, so I've done it on each side of the pool noodle to secure it in place, and the riser acts as a buffer stop for the top one. So that's always a plus, so I just got to do that one. Under and over, Peggy. Making sure it's even on both sides, because you don't want one to be out of line like a naughty little hose pipe. Great. Now this is not foolproof. There will be movement like I said earlier, but the more you can prevent, 1, 2, 3, 4, the better. Okay, so hopefully I've got it around the right way this time, with the feathers facing down for easy draw. Overall, it's a pretty decent size. It's very light. All it is pool noodle, hose pipe and zip ties, minus your arrows of course. The main thing is the string is out of the ground and moisture. I'll just vivid the lines for personal use so I know where to shove the arrows. My previous one holds 9, but that's okay. This one's gonna be just fine. As promised, here's the one I made earlier with my arc Roland. You see how that front is very flat, so I can put it dead flat on any flat ground and the string remains up. The feathers don't touch, same with the other one. So that's Bow Quiver Pool Noodle number 2. Yeah, can't wait to try this out. I've used this one for the past goodness knows how long. It's proved itself quite well. For about 5 months now I've had this one. So yeah, same design, zip tie, hose pipe, pool noodle, ×2, shove it in and away you go. So nice and light, nice and lively in hand, very visible. I don't know if they float yet, I haven't tested it, but yeah, a nice lightweight bow stand / bow quiver design. Until next time, ciao for now.